All right, so we've made it to tutorial number 2. We have our site kind of all set up. It's got some stuff on it, and we want to do some neat and fancy things. Basically, all I'm going to do is go through each of these, and through kind of like just playing around with it, I'm just going to play around to see exactly what each of these does. I won't do every single one because some of these you can kind of guess, but I do want to look through and, find things that are of interest, kind of see like, hey, what do these things do? How do they work? All that different kind of stuff. And then, we can have some time to play and build. A tutorial can only go so far. I can't teach you how to make the exact version of the website that you want. I can only show you the skills and let you throw some effort and some time at it to make sure that it works well. So when we're looking at the site, we're going to focus on this right-hand box of items. So let me move my camera over to here so we don't have it in the way. And we have all these different items to explore. So easiest thing that we could do is click on something. I'm going to click on text box. And, oh, okay, cool. So self-explanatory, it makes a text box. On the left-hand side, we have some options. Select background. All right. You can choose different things, all these different items that exist. There's a lot of neat stuff that you can piece together. I'm just literally clicking around on things to see how it looks. All right. So this background might have been a bad choice because it's kind of difficult to read it on top of the background color. So how can I fix it? Well, first thing, looking at all these items on the top, let's adjust the font size. Let me make that a little bit larger. Let me put this into the center. Let's change the color to, let's keep orange. I like orange. And that looks a little better. Oh, they have that little star on the bottom right here. If I click on that, it looks like, not really helping too much. There's like the slightest change in the darkness of it. But this is fine for now. I'm going to maybe bolden this text, see if that works. Okay, that works decent. And again, we're just playing around with this. There's no expectation for us to be perfect at this. No expectation for us to, solve, all of these problems at once. All right. Also here, I can adjust the order of it. So if you notice that little blue bar, I could snap it up to the top. And oof, this website's already starting to look ugly with these conflicting colors. So, but again, I'm not here to make a masterpiece. I'm here for us to learn how to build these items. I'm going to bring it back down and put it there. This little grip item here allows you to kind of move it around like a puzzle piece or like a, something on a table. You can drag it around and adjust it. We can duplicate the section, so we can make a clone of it. We can make it double ugly if we wanted to. And we can also delete sections, whichever one we are highlighting on. So I'm going to delete that first section. I don't want copies of it. All right. So another thing that we can do is we can adjust how wide or where this item aligns. So I can drag it and I can make it so it only shows up on part of this section. I can also take it and maybe, change where it's centered. There's a lot of different options that you can do, and it just, again, it's a matter of playing around with it and making it look how you want it to appear. Lots of different things that you can play around with, and again, we're not trying to make a masterpiece on our first site. We're trying to just explore all the tools and see what we can build. So those are the text boxes, all right? Images, I'm going to click on that. You can upload an image or you can select one. I'm going to stay with all the stuff on Google's default gallery, but you can add other stuff as well. And I'm going to go to Google image search for this, and I'm going to search for a cat. There we go, adorable kitties. I'm going to choose this one because this cat looks adorable. And down at the bottom, it makes the image. All right, maybe I don't like it there. Maybe I want to move it. If I just click and drag, this kind of shows me where my image could be. And right there, it said, hey, look, you're centered. All right, we can move it over. Maybe I do want to just put this image all the way over here on the right-hand side. It's my website. I can do whatever I want with it. All right, so that's pretty neat. All right, we can click add another image. Select an image. We'll go to image search. Let's search for a dog now. All right. Who is the bestest puppy on here? I like this one. This is a cute little puppy. Okay, and notice how it tried to bring it to the next section. But I want these two on the same line. What can I do? Well, I'm just going to try to drag it. Oh, okay, cool. It just kind of hops up into the next section. And we can even put it here. And we can even adjust the photo a little bit. And look at that. It's even adjusting it for us, to make it look nice and, beautiful. All right. We might as well add something to the middle because, hey, I'm not going to leave my website blank and missing spaces. So I'm going to do it again. I'll go to my Google image searches. Let's look for a lizard. All right, who is the lizard that we're gonna pick? I'm gonna choose this one. It's got a lot of character. It's gonna show up in the bottom again. Again, I'm just gonna be stubborn and drag it to where I need it to be. If I wanna make this lizard picture a little bit larger, I can. And yeah, we can also play around. Oh, let me shrink that down a little bit. We also have options with these images, so we can remove it. We can replace an image, add some captions, which is some text to it. Wow, there's a lot of stuff we can add. We can remove it. We can make it a clickable link to something. We can uncrop it. So let me click on that. So that kind of snaps it back. But if I'm trying to adjust the size, it's going to, remove part of it on there. So again, we're just kind of playing around with it. And if I use crop, oh, that's cool. I can even adjust how this image shows up. Let's see what this does. That zooms in. I don't need to zoom in on that. But that looks just a little bit nicer if I'm trying to get the whole image of the dog into it. All right, I'm going to go to this cat one. Let me crop that by basically just zooming in a tiny bit. I like the adorable kitty on there. Not a huge fan how it looks right now. Let's see. Can we adjust it a little bit better? And again, I'm just having fun with this. I just want to make sure that this looks nice, presentable, and interesting. So let's see. There we go. Now we got close-ups of the animals. They look fancy. And now our site just looks a little bit better. It's got some pictures of cute animals and a lizard. You might find the lizard cute. I don't know. I kind of do. But yeah, now we've added some images into it. All right. Let's try this next one, embed. I'm going to click on that. We can find a URL. We can basically take any sort of YouTube video. So let me very quickly grab one of mine. And then we can toss it in with the link. All right. How about this one? All right. This is all animal themed. So I'm going to show a video that I caught recently this winter of a pileated woodpecker. And I'm going to click insert. And boom, we have a video. I can drag it around, move it. I want this centered. I want it more than centered. I want this thing like a massive, massive video. So let me extend it out on each direction. And oh, look at that. I think I need to drag this down a little bit more to capture the whole video as well. I want this video to look nice and presentable. I can drag it down as far as I need, and it will let me keep dragging until I get to about the video height. That looks about good. All right. And now I even have a video embedded or plugged into my website. Cool. So I think at this point, let's just take a little break from designing and creating, and let's take a preview of this. Let's see what this looks like now. Preview, snap me over to the site. Hey, this doesn't look half bad. We got the images of our animals, and then we scroll down, we even have the video of the woodpecker. All right, very cool. So this is looking great. Yeah, it looks like we are doing well with our site. Let's get out of the preview, and we'll go back to our design section. All right, I think we just need to keep adding stuff. So let's take a look at our next piece. All right, so we have those different items. Google Drive, you can actually link an item from your Google Drive, which I'm not going to do on here, but you can click on it, and I imagine you can experiment around and see what it looks like. This next section, layouts, I think we're going to avoid this for just right now. We'll come back to that in a second, because I want to show you all these tools, then we'll come back to building out what those layouts can do. All right, so all of these different items have lists that do something. Lots of neat stuff. So collapsible text, again, I'm just going to click on a few of them, and then we'll kind of describe what each of these probably do, and then we can build from there. Collapsible text, all right, let's see. This is the heading for collapsible text. This is the text inside of it. I'm just going to add some items, doesn't matter how we design them, and it becomes a drop-down that can be used on our code. Again, let's snap back to the preview, see what we got. All right, our cute animals, our woodpecker. This is the heading for collapsible text. Well, if it's collapsible, let me click it. Ah, okay, so what it does is it adds text to the bottom of it. Beautiful. So you can kind of like hide things. So for example, many businesses have like our business hours, and then inside at the bottom, they could put each of the days of the week and the hours that they're open. That way it's not blasting in front of everybody, but if anybody needs to see it, they can just click on it and it will drop down the list of their hours. Cool. Table of contents allows you to create a link of items. So that's snapped all the way up to the top. I'm going to delete this for now. I think we'll come back and play around with that. All right, an image carousel. Let me click on that. So you can add some images, and this is basically like a slideshow where you have an image, and then it moves to the next image, and then it moves to the next image over and over again. So that's pretty neat. You can add some images onto there. All right, we can make a button. I'm going to make the button YouTube, and the link is www.youtube.com. All right, and I'll click Insert, and it makes an actual button. And again, we can move it to where we want. We can perfectly center it, which I'm going to do. And again, let's take a look at this preview. All right, scrolling down. There's our collapsible text. We can see it a little bit better. And this button, when you click on it, you can see on the bottom left that it wants to bring me to youtube.com. So you can make buttons that bring you to sites as well. Pretty neat, pretty neat. All right, let's add another button onto here. Let's call it Gmail, www.gmail.com. Insert it. And again, we can move it up into this section. And now I could put a Gmail button right there. We might as well wrap it up with one more button. And let's just call this Google. And we'll send it to google.com. And again, I just need to drag it so it appears in the right location. And boom, we have the trifecta of Google links of things that I use just about every day. So buttons are pretty neat. All right. We also have dividers. So if we click on that, all this is a little line that is, essentially dividing two sections. And it just becomes a little, gray line. So I think it's preview time. Scroll down. There's that little tiny gray bar that just shows an extra degree of dividing items. It's very, very subtle, but it can be very powerful when we want to divide specific things on our stuff. All right, we also have placeholders. This is kind of like you just put it in for now, and then you can click to add something from there. So if you want to make your box that holds items, make it a wide box so it can hold a bunch of stuff, you can click and then add items. Like it explains, it's a placeholder. So it's kind of like, hey, we don't have the content yet, but we want to put some spacing into it. You can add YouTube videos to it. So just kind of click and search for a video. Cats playing, how about that? Let's search. Sure, just a video that does it. Select, and boom, that video has been tossed in. All right, so a lot of these buttons, I don't want to call them completely self-explanatory, but you got to play around with them a little bit. You can add a calendar event, so you can click on calendar. That'll add different items from your personal calendar. You can add a Google Maps location. Let's type in Ellenville, New York. Click that, select it, and boom, we have an embedded or added Google Maps link. All right, I'm going to put that above those buttons, or if I want it below, I just have to drag it beneath it, and boom, it pops up. So again, a lot of this is kind of like, moving blocks around and making it work. All right, pretty neat, pretty neat. You can add Google Docs, Google Slides, Google Sheets, Google Forms, and different types of charts. I'm not going to go into all of those items because, well, I think we can kind of figure it out. And if you can't, leave a comment on this video and I'll be more than happy to give an explanation. All right, so our last thing for today was that layouts section that I wanted to explain. So I'm going to click on it. And it looks like we have different types of like symbols that represents what our items could look like. So I'm going to click this one right here. It looks like it's 3 pictures, 3 titles, and 3 descriptions. And this basically is a guided template or theme, but instead of for the whole site, it's for just one section. So I'm going to click it. And what do we get? Oh, we get all those placeholders. Remember those ones with the pluses, except they kind of like bunched it up for us. So we can put in items that we want, and then we can click to add all the information below it. So it's kind of even helping us like design and build our stuff. You know, maybe you have 3 owners of a business, so you want to put those 3 items on here. And again, sky's the limit with your imagination. You know, you can add anything that you want onto here. All right. So again, this is all stuff to play around with. You can do really cool things. You can play around with stuff. And it's just a really neat thing to kind of, you know, just goof around and build something. So the last thing that we need to do in this website tutorial is we want to figure out a way to add multiple pages, right? When I preview the site, we may look at this and say, oh, that's cool. There's a lot of stuff on here. But this might be a lot of information. And oh, look, our placeholders, they even show up on there, even though we don't have anything in it yet. But again, you know, we want to make sure that when the person visits our site, they're not overwhelmed with too much information. So the last thing that we want to be able to do is turn our site into a multiple page system. And you've probably seen that on tons of different websites. You know, our class website, for example, ECSD Tech, once you sign in, you have extra pages at the top, right? If I put all of the content, everything onto this site, and I had just, you know, you had to scroll and scroll and scroll and scroll, you would be quite frustrated because you'd have to scroll through hundreds of pages just to get where we are in this chapter. And that's not fair to you, and that's not really good web design. So we want to make sure when we design a site, we can break up our content into pages. It's a very tricky thing, you know, how do you divide and split up your information? And it's something that you only get better with through practice. All right, so all of our changes have been saved. Remember, Google tends to auto-save all the stuff that we do. So if you built everything up to this far, we're looking pretty good. I'm going to delete this section. I don't like it. I don't want it in there for now. And yeah, that's our site. That's our work in progress. What we're going to do next is we're going to take this section of our 3 cute animals. We're going to make a page for pictures of animals. We're probably going to make a page for this video. And then we'll probably add another page for some extra kind of like things to play around with. And we'll see how we can organize those links, how we can make them show up, how we can design it, and how we can really take control of all these amazing features through Google Sites. So I hope this was insightful. I hope this helped you build your first site. And again, if you have any questions, don't be afraid to leave them in the comments section. Have yourself a wonderful day.